Hello, my name is Bob Davis 321. That's not really my name, but that's my name on the internet. And I thought I'd do a video on being unemployed. I've been unemployed. Haven't had a full-time job in a year, part-time in a couple months, and so spending a lot of my time on the internet, going through all the job applications, and you know, it's incredible how every single site requires that you totally recreate your resume from scratch. It's like after a while you got everything memorized, you keep having to start all over again. Anyways, I had a few thoughts on being unemployed. First thought, of course, is new president, President Obama promised us change, and so here's what we have. We have change, a few pennies to scrape together. About myself, so if somebody's watching this and saying, hey, I'd like to hire that guy. I am a computer and electronics technician with 30-some years of experience. I'm an inventor, I'm an author. This is one of my books on Amazon.com, Digital and Computer Projects. Just look it up on Amazon.com. I'm all over there. I'm also all over the internet. I have a blog, bobdavis321.blogspot.com. One of my favorite things to do is to find and fix electronics and computer problems. 3 times in the last year, I have managed to locate and remove a virus where none of the antivirus companies could even touch it. In fact, one of them was that famous greeting card virus. You have an email from a worshiper. And I located it, and actually there I had to start all over with a clean hard drive. And the old hard drive, I set it on the bench, and about every month or so I'd run Norton antivirus, I'd run AVG antivirus, I'd run McAfee antivirus, and none of them for several months could find the problem. So anyways, and I just had 2 more viruses in the last couple months where I again had to go into manual mode to figure out how to shut them down and get them out of there. And so that's basically, you know, that's a little bit about me. Things about being unemployed. Well, not only do you get to spend all your time on the internet, you also get these interesting phone calls. These days they do what you call a telephone interview, although they don't always call it that. But what the problem is you got, you know, 50, 60 people applying for a job for one person to hire. So it appears what the companies do is they have someone on the outside. They'll call up saying, I'm from such and such consulting company, and I'm calling you about your resume, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And what they're essentially doing is they're hiring someone to weed the 60-some applicants down to 1 applicant, so then they can interview the, not 1 applicant, 5 or 6, and then they interview those 5 or 6 for the job. I had one job where I was down to the top 3, but it didn't work out. Mistakes we all make. Well, one of the things I just worked on now, today, is a cover letter. It's like back in the old days you never needed a cover letter, so I came up with a universal cover letter. Basically, you'd come up with a cover letter that likes to summarize your high points kind of things. Like in my case, you know, I work on computers and telephones and electronics of all sorts, and like I said, I like to troubleshoot and fix them. And then you have to come up with several paragraphs saying, you know, I think I could be a tremendous asset for your company because I can save you lots of money, because most companies contract a lot of this stuff out and end up paying thousands of dollars for a year for these, you know, for their telephone system or whatever, and I can cover that in-house. Anyways, here's some good things about being unemployed. Every day is a holiday. Yay! You can go for a walk anytime you want to. Yes, I feel like going for a walk out there. It's snowing. You can make lots of YouTube videos. Yes. I think I've made probably, I don't know, 6 or 8 YouTube videos since I've been unemployed. Get to work on your inventions all the time. I got one I'm working on over here. This monstrosity here will be a 2400 volt washer launcher eventually. So you get to spend all your time fiddling on your inventions. You get to read any book you want, and you get to read it as many times as you want. You could even read my book. I gave these to relatives and none of them ever read it because they couldn't understand a word of it. here's an interesting one. It reminds me there's a house right across the street that I'd like to look at. I was really enjoying looking at a house, and they ask you, well, interested in buying it? How much money do you make? Where do you work? I don't work anywhere. I don't make any money. I'm just wasting your time. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, you get to surf the internet all day looking at job sites. I've got, I think about 6 or 8 different job sites. And of course you get to enter your resume over and over and over and over. Because you just can't, well, some sites let you cut and paste, but most of them ask you 30 million questions, which essentially recreates the whole resume. Anyways, that's some good stuff about being unemployed. And some good things to think about. And remember, watch out for the sneaky phone interviews. When you go into for a normal job interview, you get to psych yourself up. You know, think about it. Think about questions. When they get you with a phone interview, you're like, you know, in the middle of shooting a YouTube video like this, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and it's such and such from such and such company, and there you are, stuck with a phone interview. And one of the problems I run into, like discussing cover letters. Every job, the cover letter almost has to be customized for each job. So I find it to be a terrible nuisance, but I guess you have to get used to it. What I'm thinking about now is maybe the idea would be to generate 2 or 3 cover letters, one specifically to each kind of job. Like one would say, hey, I love writing computer programs. I can program in assembly, C, BASIC, DBase, HTML, CSS, you name it. And then another one says, hey, I like fixing computers and working with network and network administration, you know, and basically try to come up with a cover letter specific to each type of thing. So you can have multiple cover letters to choose among. So that's it for my video on being unemployed. And this is probably the first video I've shot where you can actually see a bit of my shop here. Hopefully you didn't get bored to death, and you know, in life you have to learn to enjoy things, and so you have to learn to enjoy being unemployed, because you know what, it won't last forever.